Alright, you guys, we are going to push forward with our local adjustment tools. The next tool that I'm going to show you is the graduated filter. The graduated filter is right here under the histogram. The keyboard shortcut for it is M. So you could hit M and it'll select it, or you could select it from the menu by just clicking here. It's the little rectangle right in the middle. So the way that the graduated filter works is it creates a straight line blended edit. It works really well when you have a photo with a straight line delineation between one value and another, i.e. a horizon line, or the edge of a building or something like that. So let me show you how it works. So I have the tool selected, and I'm just going to click and drag, and we see that it expands into these three lines. And so I'm going to go down and hit Selected Mask Overlay. The keyboard shortcut for that is O, and it'll just show it to you. So remember, whatever is red is a mask that shows us what's going to change. So you can grab, or you can float your cursor over this middle line and rotate this however way you want. I'm going to rotate it so that it sits on the horizon. You can grab the button and move it up like this. You can grab each of the lines and bring them closer together or farther apart. The farther they are apart, I don't even see the top one here. The farther apart they are, the more transition there is in the edit. The closer they are together, the more hard edge that edit is going to be. So I want to really blend this sky down without changing the tonality of the landscape. So right here we see that the application starts right here and goes all the way down to somewhere around here. I'm going to actually bring it down a little bit more. I'm going to turn off Show Selected Mask Overlay. And let's change the color temperature of just the sky. So I'm just going to really make it punchy by increasing the temperature. Maybe bring down the exposure a little bit. Maybe bring up the highlights. I'm not going to mess with the shadows or the blacks because there is none in the sky. And maybe saturate the sky. We can go real crazy. Let's go something like that. That looks crazy. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. So that's a really useful way. If I float over here, it'll show me where that is. And I can always, extend this or shrink it up based on what I want. Now, to make sure that ensure that it covers the whole sky, I'm gonna drag it down like this. So it blends from 100% intensity all the way down here to probably 0% down to on this line. And so we can rotate that however we want. Once we have it where we want, we can hit done. This works, like I said, really good if you have a horizon. Let's go actually to another photo that has a horizon. This photo has a horizon, but we got this peak of this mountain in this way, and I actually haven't done the global edits on this photo, so let me just do that really quick. Just bumpy. I'm just going to do that. That looks fine to me. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the graduated filter again. I'm going to drag it over the photo and rotate. So to rotate it, you just float over that middle line. Show Selected Mask Overlay. I'm going to hit O to do that. Bring this one up here. Oop, I don't want to do that. I want to bring this one up here because I don't want it to be applied on the ground. I just want it to be applied in the sky. I'm going to maybe tilt this a little bit. Maybe like that. All right, let's see if we can do something here. I don't think that we can. I was hoping that we could maybe add to this. Let's see if we can do it with the brush. Or subtract from it. Maybe we can. Okay, anyhow, you can have this pin selected. Let's click it. And we're going to just change the exposure of the sky. Let me turn the Selected Mask Overlay off. Bring the exposure of the sky down a little bit. And as long as we don't mess with the shadow, right? If we mess with the shadow, it's going to be really the peak of that mountain, where we don't have shadows and blacks in the sky. We only have it in the peak of that mountain. So if I don't mess with shadows and blacks, we should be pretty good. So let me just go, as I just clicked on that. So let's bring that down a little bit. Let's bring that there. Let's increase the saturation. That looks pretty good to me. So let's just see, let's hit done. All right, there's our edit right there. And it didn't really change the top of the mountain. So even though it wasn't this perfect horizon, we still were able to use the graduated filter to create that edit right there. So it's a really useful tool. I mean, to be honest with you, I use the adjustment brush, the local adjustment brush, for most everything. So, I don't really use the graduate filter unless I had this really straight, perfect horizon line like I do in this photo. Let's actually do another graduated filter on this photo really quick. So let's go new. Oh, you know what? I think I just figured out how we can edit it with a brush. Okay, so let me go show selected mask overlay. I'm going to rotate it because now I adjusted the sky with my last one. Now I'm going to adjust the landscape. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to maybe bring this maybe a little bit higher to make sure that all those mountains are covered. Something like that. And I'm going to bring the exposure down. Let's turn off the selected mask overlay. Bring the exposure of the mountains. What do we want to do? Let's bring them down a little bit. And let's make them clear. Let's really saturate them. Let's saturate them crazy. All right, and then hit done. All right, so now we have this really crazy edit where we have the sky edited separately from the ground. So I'm going to go before and after. So there's before, there's after. So you can tell that that made a pretty huge difference. Now let me go back to this photo one more time and see where I have this. Okay, so I have this button right here. Now we're going to try something. Because remember, this is the graduated filter that I put that is still catching part of this peak. And I saw here in the mask option, we can go brush. And if I hold down option, I can go minus and deselect this part of the mask. So let me show you what I'm doing. If I have that selected, hold down option, I'm now taking out that part of the adjustment. So you can use the graduated filter in unison with the brush by hitting brush right here. So let's do one more just to make sure that we're clear on this. Let's hit done there. Okay, so I'm going to do another one where you're going to need the brush. Okay, so here's a really good one. I'm going to, once again, do the graduated filter on the sky. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to bring it up here. Looks pretty good. Make it a little smaller. Something like that. Maybe even rotate a little bit because we have this area down here. Something like that. Make this one a little bit bigger. That looks good to me. But as you see, we're getting all of these mountains included into it. And I don't want that. I just want the sky to be this nice gradient. So I'm going to go over here to brush. Select brush. And if I don't hold down option, we're adding to the selection. We're going to add red to the selection. We don't want to do that. We want to remove red from the selection. So I'm going to hold down option so that there's a minus sign. And I'm going to remove part of the selection, mainly and namely everything that is not the sky. So I'm just going to really quick kind of go through here. Now, I'm not doing a perfect job at this, but it's pretty good. All right, let me do one more little pass. Clean this up, and then I'm going to go through with a smaller brush and clean everything else up. It's actually looking pretty good to me. I mean, right, we could go and make this like real perfect. I'll make my brush a little smaller. But it's kind of crazy how much this stuff blends together and you don't have to be like really fussy with it. Let me make my brush smaller. Clean up 4 peaks back here. For some reason we can just see 3 of them from where I'm at. And clean up these. And I saw that I kind of missed this area right here, so I'm going to paint over that again. Okay, so now, if I turn the selected mask overlay off, now we have, oh, whoops. Let's get rid of this thing. That looks horrible. That's because my brush was at 100%. So let's actually go and make our brush way down here and remove some of this. Or actually, now I have to edit it in. Let's turn the mask overlay back on. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. What I want you to know is that you can use these tools with each other. So let me brush over it. So because the gradient filter is a gradient and it doesn't apply it, it feathers the intensity from 100% down to 0%, and then I just brushed in that with 0%. So now I'm just trying to fix that a little bit. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad to me. So now let's turn off Show Select Mask Overlay, and now I could just go in and bring the exposure down on the sky, something like that. Bring the saturation on the sky up, something like that. And it's not affecting the mountaintops because I've painted those out. Now let's do one more gradient filter, and then I swear I'll be done. So one more. We're going to make it so that it is the landscape. So I'm going to hit O, which is going to show me the mask overlay. Whoa, what's going on there? That took a second to load. My computer's getting real weird. Alright, so I just want the landscape because I'm going to just really kick up the saturation there. Unclick that, and let's go saturation. I know that in this demo I'm like saturating everything. That's not what I suggest you guys do. I don't necessarily think that's like the best way to edit a photo. I'm just doing it for the example here. We can also make it so it goes out like that, and we're going to say done. Okay, so there's my photo. Let's see where we started and where we are now. So this is after, this is before. So we see that we added a lot of clarity and saturation to the foreground, and a lot of saturation to the sky, and kind of adjusted the exposure in the sky. So that's a really cool tool to use. And I think that it's awesome that we were able to discover that we can use the graduated filter with the brush tool. All right, I hope that was useful for you.